All right, let's just dive right into it. Welcome to this masterclass on how to completely stop reacting to the absolute chaos of modern life and start strategically navigating it instead. Look, if you've ever felt like your strings are just constantly being pulled by the people and the circumstances around you, this explainer was designed specifically for you. We're going to deconstruct the actual mechanics of influence, emotional control, and high-level strategy, pulling from 8 profound sources to build you a mental framework that you can start using literally today. So the ultimate goal here is staying completely unbothered, even when you're standing in the middle of a blazing fire of conflict. Think of that fire as every annoying email, every manipulative conversation, every random crisis that gets thrown at you during the day. The reactive mind? It just catches on fire right along with them. But the unbothered mind? It sits back, observes the heat, and remains entirely untouched. And that concept is the rock-solid foundation for everything we're about to cover. Today, we are building this framework across 3 crucial pillars. 1. Master your inner state. 2. Cultivate dangerous focus. And 3. Seeing unfiltered reality. Let's get right to it. Starting with pillar 1, master your inner state. Because the truth is, you cannot possibly hope to control a situation if you can't control yourself first. Which brings us to a really uncomfortable question. Why on earth do we let other people control our emotions? It's a bit provocative, right? But yielding your internal state to someone else is literally the first way you lose the mental battlefield. Think about it. When someone insults you, or cuts you off in traffic, or undermines you in a meeting, and you get instantly angry, they have successfully hacked your nervous system. You would never just hand a total stranger your wallet, so why are you handing them the remote control to your brain? To become truly strategic, you have to cut that connection entirely. And this is exactly where emotional intelligence comes into play. But listen, probably not in the way you might think. EQ is so often misunderstood as just being empathetic or, being nice. It's not. It's actually a highly tactical skill. It is the ability to recognize emotional data coming in, process it without letting it infect your judgment, and then consciously use it to diffuse conflicts instead of accidentally blowing things out of proportion. Pulling this off requires 2 concurrent goals. You've got a defensive mandate, which is to never get angry and just stay fundamentally unbothered. And then you pair that with an offensive mandate, which is actively training your mind to win in every single situation you step into. When you combine those 2, you essentially build this psychological armor. You can absorb hits without even flinching, while at the same exact time you're calculating your path to victory. So how do we actually do this? By following 3 very actionable steps to neutralize anyone trying to bother you. First, you have to recognize the trigger, the exact millisecond it happens, like noticing that heat rising in your chest when your boss sends a passive-aggressive message. Second, and honestly, this is the magic trick right here, you detach. You insert this split-second pause, and you just look at the emotion as if it's sitting on a table in front of you. Finally, step 3, you respond with intentional calm. Doing that completely derails the other person's expectation and puts you right back in the driver's seat. All right, moving on to pillar 2, cultivate danger of focus. With your internal laboratory completely secure, it's time to actually execute out in the real world. To execute properly, you have to adopt what we call a general's mindset. A general doesn't just run screaming onto the battlefield swinging a sword around blindly, right? They stand back, they view the landscape from an elevated strategic vantage point. And that is the exact shift you need to make every single day. You've got to stop being the foot soldier in your own life and start being the general. This is the essence of strategic thinking. It is not just a concept for military campaigns or boardrooms. It's exactly how you outsmart challenges in your daily life to win big. Look at chess grandmasters. They aren't just staring at the wooden pieces, they are playing out hundreds of psychological permutations in their head. That's applied planning. It means that every time you hit a hurdle, you aren't just reacting to whatever's right in front of your nose. You're constantly asking, okay, if I do A, they're going to do B, which perfectly sets me up to do C. It's all about playing the long game. And this intense level of focus absolutely has to translate into how you communicate. A reactive speaker just blurts out whatever pops into their head. They're driven by unfiltered emotion, which frankly makes them a super easy target. But a smart speaker, they are deeply psychologically aware. Every single word out of their mouth is a calculated move to persuade, to influence, or to advance their position. They never just speak to vent. So there are 4 core rules to maintaining this general's mindset. Rule 1, always assess the terrain. Know exactly who is in the room and what their real motives are. Rule 2, Keep your execution completely detached from your emotions. Rule 3, anticipate what others are going to do way before they actually do it. And Rule 4, perhaps the most incredibly powerful of all, use silence as a tool. A reactive mind totally panics in silence and will rush to fill the void, usually making a mistake. A strategic mind uses that silence to make other people nervous and force them to reveal their hand. Which brings us to our final step, Pillar 3, seeing unfiltered reality. Because let's face it, you cannot be a master strategist if your map of the world is based on a fairy tale. The legendary psychologist Carl Jung actually talked about this. He conceptualized the day that you stop romanticizing people as this massive, fundamental psychological shift. Human nature makes us want to live in this dreamlike view, where everyone is just inherently good and has our best interests at heart. But to be truly strategic, you have to peel back the layers and look at the underlying and sometimes very harsh structure of reality. Living with a romanticized view makes you so incredibly vulnerable to betrayal, because when you project your own ideals onto other people, you are basically just setting yourself up for disappointment. Jung argued that we absolutely have to accept human darkness. People are flawed, they are self-interested, sometimes they're capable of malice, and accepting this without a rosy filter is what actually makes you practically immune to manipulation. And that brings us to the ultimate marriage of thought here. It's combining the messy art of human strategy and psychology with the deep, cold, calculated precision you'd see in an AI system like Google DeepMind. When you actually merge these two things, you step completely beyond personal bias. You just analyze pure data and execute the optimal move. It's a total game changer. If we map this whole evolution out, you can really see the clear path. Most of society is totally stuck at level 1, right? They're emotionally reactive, constantly triggered, and effectively controlled by their environment. But through emotional intelligence, you graduate to level 2. That's where you gain that dangerous focus and the general's mindset. But level 3 is where the elite operate. By embracing unfiltered reality, dropping the romantic illusions, and thinking with pure objective precision, you become the ultimate reality navigator. Honestly, if you only take away one single thing from this entire explainer today, let it be this one life-changing mandate. Stop reacting, start strategizing. Write it on a sticky note, make it your phone's wallpaper. Every single time you feel that spike of emotion, or you're about to snap out of anger, or you get let down by someone, catch yourself. Remind yourself to stop reacting and start strategizing. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on as you step back into your day, no longer acting as a pawn, but as the player. The chaos of the world isn't going to stop, but it no longer has permission to control you. Look at the absolute biggest source of stress in your life right this second. Are you going to let them play you, or are you ready to change the game?